However, I see two big changes happening, I would say, earlier rather than later. The first is, which did happen even before, but maybe it is speeded up further, is the omni-channel, rising of the omni-channel. And what I mean by omni-channel is offline players taking advantage of the availability of an online service. But having said that, I think the focus earlier had been on cities. I strongly believe that the focus will be on tier 2, tier 3 towns going forward for the omni-channel prevalence. And that is not going to be facilitated unless technology is embraced across a supply chain, which I actually see as the biggest change taking place post-COVID. If you really look at the thought process, I think many large companies, people who are on this call, or people who manage large companies even in India or overseas, had all been speaking about technology as being a backbone, as being a requirement to interact with customers, to B2B, B2C, etc. But I think somewhere along the line, we never looked at linking all the way into our channel partners, all the way into each of our service providers, and making it a seamless supply chain. I think COVID has taught us that is going to be the real, what I would call not just challenge, but also opportunity. So I think maybe we are trying to make too much of changes in consumer preferences and the way in which behavior will take place. Yes, it could be so for the next 1 year, but is it going to be a complete long-term change where people never go and shop and everything is going to happen online? I really don't know. I would not like to hazard a guess, because I think you never know how human intuition works or how human acceptance works of new things. But having said that, these two are ones which I would take as 100% reality in terms of the way in which structures will change, in way in which consumers will be dealt with, and most importantly, I would call the lowest end of the supply chain, which could be a transporter, which could be a kirana store. How are they going to be transformed going ahead? And all of them were piecemeal efforts. Now I see a concerted effort taking place in making this change happen, and I think it will be much faster than what the earlier attempts have been.
So I think I agree with you, Dinesh. I think the new normal is something that we need to consciously do, and it's not going to automatically happen. So I'll just point to something that you mentioned on omni-channel. So if you could just quickly share some thoughts on how do you think omni-channel will play out in a high touch and feel segment like the auto segment? Maybe some quick thoughts on that.
Yeah. So, let me start with first the aftermarket, right? So, aftermarket maybe in India is maybe highly fragmented, meaning you have literally 4 layers within the supply chain, meaning there is a repairer, there is a retailer, there's a wholesaler, and then there is a distributor, and then there's a manufacturer. So, you're speaking about maybe 6 layers of disaggregation taking place. In the omni-channel, the way I look at it is, I don't believe that each of them will go out of business, but some of them will go out of business, and there will be a shrinking in terms of the layers within by usage of technology. So it does not mean people go out of business. It is they adapt to using technology as a solution, and in a way being able to create an offline-online experience which is similar. That's from an aftermarket side. If I look at the finished products, let us say a car sale or a used car sale, I think I still strongly believe that change has already taken place in terms of people don't come to showrooms to buy vehicles. They actually see the cars in their home. And other than the big cities, when you go to any tier 2 city or any tier 3 city, you will find that test drives are actually taking place in localities where they live within, and they don't go more than a kilometer or whatever it is to feel that. Will that change and people will start buying without test driving, without really looking at vehicles? I doubt it. I think not just India, even globally, I think it is just not gone beyond more than 7-8% of sales taking place. So I think the omni-channel, in my view, is where there will be a physical store, there will be a physical touch and feel, but the need for the number of times of touch and feel, or what I would call the waste touch and feel, meaning it's an invoicing or a process by which delivery takes place, will become purely electronic and purely technology oriented. That for 100% sure in the auto sector. The final comment I'll make here is I also see a lot of aggregators coming in, not on the finished goods, but on the spare parts side, trying to make sure that they create the visibility and touchless process so that people can benefit from it. And again, I see more of that happening in tier 2, tier 3, and even the rural markets, because that's where the consumption is actually taking place today.